Now, before I got sober, my life was a complete mess. I spent time homeless. I've slept in squats and abandoned buildings. I had a heart attack with my son in the bed. I've ruined all my relationships, pretty much ruined all of my friendships. I didn't speak to my mum and dad for years. I didn't speak to my brother, all because of drugs and alcohol and the situations that I would get myself into. Now, I was a drug addict for over 24 years, okay? Once I did the 12 steps of recovery, everything changed. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to quit any addiction, okay? And I know that this works because this is what I've done myself. And since I did it, I haven't used a drink or a drug for over 2.5 years. My name is Gavin. This is my self-improvement YouTube channel, L.F.G, where I help men change themselves and their lives with content like this, with my male supplement and my paid community. And I'm feeling really ill today. Let's get into it, okay? So my interpretation of step 1 is you have to acknowledge that you have a problem and that you cannot manage your life anymore. Basically, you have to accept that the shit has hit the fan and you are powerless over your chosen substance. If you could have stopped by now, you would have done. Maybe you might have tried to stop using something before, but you maybe stopped smoking weed, but then you started drinking alcohol and you kind of substitute one thing for another. Maybe you tried to move to a different town or a city like I did, thinking that that would fix a problem, but it never works, okay? You need to acknowledge that there is a huge problem. Until you fix it, you are not going to be able to live a normal life. My interpretation of step 2 is there is a way for you to stop, okay? There is a way. I know so because I've done it. There is a way for you to stop, but you are not going to be able to do it alone. You can't rely solely on self-reliance all of the time. You're going to need some like-minded people that are like you, okay, that want to change themselves for the better, that don't want to use drink or drugs anymore. I've just had enough, you know, enough of not being able to live a normal life, enough of pissing all of their money away every day or every weekend. So you can't do it alone. My interpretation of step number 3 is start praying every day, okay? I don't care what you believe in. It doesn't matter at all. You can believe in tea. You know, tea can be your God. It's my God for me right now. You can believe in whatever you want. You can pray to whatever you want. I still have no idea or an understanding of what I really pray to when I pray, and I don't have to. All I know is that when I speak to myself in my head, it works. At the beginning of every day, just say thanks for a sober day, like an affirmation, and say thanks for another sober day when you go to sleep. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. You don't have to read the Bible or the Quran or anything else, okay? Just say thank you. Simple. My interpretation of step number 4 is make a list of all the things that are fucking you up inside. Anything that's keeping you up at night, all of your wrongdoings, things that you feel guilty about, resentments you might have with other people, you know, stuff that scarred you, maybe some trauma. Just write it all down on a piece of paper, okay? And don't spend a long time doing this. Do it within a couple weeks. You don't want to be dwelling in this negative space for months and months and months. Do it as quick as possible, but take your time, if you know what I mean. Couple weeks tops. Step number 5, you share that list with another human being, okay? Get it off of your chest. Talk with somebody else about it. Step number 6, my interpretation, is understand that you have defects and you have a part to play in every situation, for the most part, that has happened to you. And you need to be ready to let that shit go. Step number 7 is in your head or out loud, ask your God to remove those defects and remove those feelings that you wrote down in your step 4. You have to ask him, them, they, he, she, to take them away. My interpretation of step number 8 is you have to make a list of every person you have harmed. You know, it can be quite difficult because oftentimes, you know, people have big egos and we think the situations, or a lot of situations, are all somebody else's fault, okay? But a lot of times this is not the case. So make a list of all the people that you have wronged, all the people that you have harmed. And then step number 9, you have to be willing to say sorry to all of those people, okay? Now, you're not going to be able to say sorry to all of them. Some people, they're going to hate your guts and they're not going to pick up the phone, or, you know, maybe you were a different person back then and they're scared to pick up the phone because of what might happen. But you have to become willing, just willing, to say sorry to them. It doesn't mean that you should just be willing and you don't have to say sorry to anybody. That's not true. You do have to say sorry. All I'm saying is, if there's a situation where you can't apologize to somebody yet, or that opportunity hasn't presented itself, just become willing. And then when the opportunity does present itself, that's when you can make amends to that person. Step number 10, in layman's terms, You have to make a note every single night before you go to bed and ask yourself, was I a dickhead today? What could I have done better? Was I selfish? Was I resentful? You are taking inventory on yourself. This is very like, it can make you hyper aware of situations. And once you get used to doing this for a little while, you can become a lot more aware of your actions in situations, and you can have a peace of quiet before situations occur, and you can actually think things over a lot more clearly and prevent a lot of stuff from happening. So I really do recommend that. Step 11 is very simple. Okay, you have to pray and meditate every single day. I just spoke about this in another video, but I've had days where I was really inconsistent with my prayer and meditation. And I noticed that on the days that I didn't do it, I felt considerably worse. Either I was more agitated, I was less calm, I was less relaxed, my decisions were worse. So now I just do it every single day, like regardless. I just get straight out of bed. Within the first 10 minutes, maybe I'll have a coffee first and then just get straight to it, okay? Make it part of your day-to-day life. Step number 12 is help somebody else. Maybe somebody that's gone through similar things that you've gone through, okay? Now that you have gone through all of these steps, you're in a position to help somebody else. You actually have a responsibility to help somebody else, however that may be. I could put it like this, okay? The whole process is you acknowledge that you have a problem, okay? You clear out all of your closet. You start to feel better about yourself, you shed all of that weight, all the burdens that you've been carrying around for years, oftentimes since you were a child. You start to live a more spiritual life. You are replacing your addiction with spiritual practices, okay? Prayer and meditation every day, taking inventory on yourself. And now that you feel better, you have a responsibility to help somebody else. For me, that's what it is. Now, I know that this stuff works, okay, because I've done it. And I haven't touched a drink or a drug since I've done these steps. So this is my interpretation of this, the 12-step program. But I would recommend 100% that you find a fellowship near you and just get stuck in if you have a problem. Some people go to the pub or bar and have one drink and then go home. Some people can have one line of cocaine and just go home after, that's not my experience. And if that's not your experience, you've tried to stop for a number of years and you haven't been able to, then you have to fix this, okay? I hope that makes sense. Guys, remember, it is your God-given right to be successful, and it is your responsibility to reach your potential.